ever found yourself in a room full of more accomplished or more experienced leaders and you felt a bit intimidated even though you are a leader yourself? This is a very common occurrence, and I want you to know you are not alone. This happens to the best of us as leaders. Now, if you find that this topic sounds the least bit interesting, you absolutely want to stay until the end of this video. I'm going to share with you why do leaders, even though they're very accomplished, feel sometimes very intimidated in spaces where other leaders are present that may have done different types of things in their careers. And I'm going to give you, as always, leaders, a strategy, a couple of strategies for you to start working on and start implementing today that can help you to not feel as intimidated when you are in a room full of peers that are perhaps seasoned, experienced leaders, seasoned veterans in a room. This topic is more of an advanced topic. If you are just starting out on your leadership journey, this may be somewhat helpful to you to get an idea as to what you can expect. But this topic specifically is for those individuals who are very much experienced and accomplished leaders, because this is where I start to see this particular intimidation happen as we develop. Now, before I go into the video, I want to give a shout out to the viewer that recommended this particular type of topic and had a question about it, which is Bishop Burton. I appreciate the topic, and the question Bishop Burton specifically had was, how do you not be intimidated when you're in a room full of seasoned veterans, meaning seasoned leaders? So we're going to talk about it today. If you are new to me, my name is Dr. Jacinta, and I'm so glad you took a few moments out of your day to spend with me today. I focus on advanced communication strategies that will help you to stand out from your peers as a leader. My direct audience that I work with in terms of my executive coaching practice and consulting practice are women in leadership. However, if you happen to be out of that audience and you are a man in leadership, or perhaps someone who is not a leader just yet, but you're wanting to learn more about the process, you will learn, and I guarantee you will learn some very priceless information here on this channel that will help set you up for success, whether you're in my target audience or not. You're going to learn a lot of information here. And I want to know from those of you who are joining, welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing fantastically well today. I appreciate you being here today. And I want to know from you, have you ever felt intimidated by being in a room of experienced leaders? Let's talk about it today. We're going to get into this topic, and I'm going to share with you over 20 years worth of experience as a C-suite executive, a manager, a director, a public speaker, to help you be that person that is not feeling intimidated when you're in a room with other people who maybe have done more things than you have. So let's talk about it today. I want to say hello to YSYS SBSHSH. Hello, how are you doing today? I'm glad you're here. Appreciate you stopping by. For those of you who are joining, let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you are joining from today. And have you ever felt intimidated when you were in a room full of other people that had more experience than you? Let's talk about it in the video today. We have, let's see, OCOOC. P2K, hello, hope you're doing well today. Let me know if you all have ever felt intimidated when you're in a room with experienced people or experienced leaders. Let me know. Let's talk about it today. And let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you are joining from also. So let's start. The reason why many people will feel intimidated when they are in a room of seasoned leaders, even though you may be an accomplished leader yourself, is because of this word. There is a buzzword that comes out a lot, and it is called imposter syndrome. How many of you have heard of imposter syndrome before? Let me know in the comments below, whether you're watching live right now or you're watching the replay. Let me know if you've ever heard of imposter syndrome before. I'll share with you what it is and give you some insight in terms of where this came from. This term specifically was defined by a few psychologists many decades ago, I believe in the 70s from what I remember. And this particular syndrome is something that happens often to people just like you. the people that are subscribed to my channel, that are very high achieving, very accomplished women in leadership and men in leadership. Sometimes when we are so accomplished in our roles, we sometimes question, do we really know what we know? And if this has ever happened to you before, put it in the comments below. Let's talk about it. But oftentimes with this syndrome specifically, we have this second guessing of ourselves. We know that we've done some very accomplished things in our careers. We know we have went through a lot and we've done a lot, but there's still this very small voice inside of our head that says, you know what, leader, you're not that good. You don't know what you're doing. All these other people, they know a lot more than you. So you just need to take a seat in the back and just observe. That is imposter syndrome. And if this is you've ever experienced this as a woman in leadership, as a man in leadership, this is very common. Imposter syndrome is something that will absolutely cause you to not do well in your career. And so for those of you who are joining, if you're really trying to elevate how you're communicating as a leader, you don't want to be intimidated when you're in rooms again, this is the best channel for you to be at here on YouTube today. I'm sharing with you knowledge that you will not get on other channels. This is the best place for you to be. And if you like this information, you absolutely should subscribe to the channel. So we just talked about imposter syndrome. So I want to say hello to Miss Bread Mama. Hello, welcome, welcome. Let me know what part of the Big Beautiful World y'all are joining from today. And if you have ever felt intimidated when you were in a room of people that were a bit more experienced than you. Let's talk about it today. So I shared with you just a moment ago, why does this intimidation happen? A lot of it comes from the fact that we have or are experiencing imposter syndrome. I just talked about imposter syndrome in terms of what it is, why does it occur, and who it affects. It affects high achieving leaders, the exact individuals that are subscribed to my channel, and we have this doubt that something is telling us, even though we've done amazing things in our careers, we are just not accomplished. We have not done anything. And that is what imposter syndrome is. Before I go into a bit more about imposter syndrome and share with you a couple of strategies that will help you to not feel as intimidated when you are in a group of individuals that are maybe more accomplished or have done more things than you potentially in their careers. Let me see what's in the chat. We have Nargon Pon Kitya Apsion. I hope I said that correctly. If I did not, I'm sorry about that, but I'm glad that you're here. Let me know what part of the Big Beautiful World you are joining from today. Now, imposter syndrome, as I mentioned earlier, it impacts high achieving leaders, specifically men and women, right? However, imposter syndrome has been found to affect more women than it does men. So what I want you to take away from this is that men and women both deal with imposter syndrome. This is the reason why we're talking about this topic and why sometimes we may not feel very confident or we feel very intimidated when we are in rooms with other people that are our peers, so to speak, that may be doing more in their careers than we are currently at the moment. However, it does have a unique impact on women in leadership roles as well, which is my direct target audience. If you are a woman in leadership and you are experiencing imposter syndrome and you're struggling with this in your workplace or in your businesses and in your careers, it's impacting you to negotiate your salaries, it's impacting you to generate more income, it's impacting you from being able to make that big impact on the world or your businesses or your state country that you are working in, then you should reach out to me for a strategy session in the description below. So let's talk about some strategies to help you overcome imposter syndrome or to help you make a very good conscious effort to not feel so intimidated when you are in rooms with people that are more experienced than you. Are you ready? The very first strategy, and I want you all to let me know what you've experienced, whether you're watching this live right now, I appreciate you being here today, or you are watching the replay. Let me know if you have ever felt intimidated when you were in the room with other people that may be a bit more experienced than you, even though you're a leader. Let me know in the comments below. There's a couple strategies that I want to share with you today. And these strategies come from my over 20 years of being in those very senior leadership type of roles where I've been in very friendly conversations. I've been in very contentious conversations. I've interacted with congressional leaders at the national level here in the United States. And I've seen a lot, done a lot so far. One of the first strategies I tell people, and this is what I would encourage you all to consider when you are in those leadership roles and you're starting to feel a bit intimidated, is the following. Before you go into your meeting or your conversation or discussion, whatever it is that you're having, take a few moments and think about what are some of the amazing successes that you have accomplished in your lifetime. Now, you don't need to write an entire book about your life. That's not the point. The point is for you to start thinking about yourself and thinking about those amazing accomplishments that we've had, that you've completed. One of the challenges I see a lot of my clients struggle with, and many leaders struggle with as well, is the ability to reflect on themselves and the successes that they have accomplished. Let me be more specific. Oftentimes as leaders, and let me know if you've ever done this before. When we are in those leadership roles, we have a goal. We tackle the goal, that goal's done. And we go to the next goal, that goal's done. And we go to the next one, and the next one. And we just keep going up the goal ladder, as I would say. But we never take a moment to stop and take a breath. And that breath would be just to reflect on, wow, what did I do? So envision this. Envision yourself climbing up a mountain. And this is a visualization exercise that I share with my clients in an executive coaching setting. Imagine yourself climbing a mountain. Whatever that mountain is in your life, maybe professionally you have done a lot. Think about where you started on your journey as a professional, as a leader. You probably did not start off as a leader, as many of us do not. But think of yourself climbing up a mountain. And imagine that you are almost at the top of your mountain. You're almost where you need to be. And take a moment and look down the back of the mountain. Now, you don't want to fall, but you want to look down the back of the mountain and look and see how far you have been able to climb. As you are climbing to the top of the mountain, when you look back and see where you came from and what you have experienced, what you have been able to navigate through as a leader, it gives you that sense of accomplishment that you need to have when you're going into those meetings, when you are interacting with people that may be a bit more experienced than you are. Once you have those memories there, those memories help to trigger your confidence to just say, oh, wow, I came from a long way, or I have done a lot of wonderful things. I know I have something to offer, which is what is going to lead into my second strategy in just a moment. So as I mentioned, the first strategy to help you not feel as intimidated when you're going into meetings, discussions, events, and etc., where there are people that are more experienced leaders than you are, more experienced veterans, or more experienced business owners in general, is to reflect on your successes. What are the things that you have personally done that have helped you be able to climb the ladder of success in your own life? Keep those at the forefront of your mind, because these are the wonderful events that will help to build up your confidence. Remember, imposter syndrome is the reason why people struggle with feeling intimidated when they are in rooms with other individuals that appear to be more accomplished than they are. Therefore, if imposter syndrome, and this is my very humble opinion, if imposter syndrome makes you have that doubt, that self-doubt that you are not able and you are not capable of being able to be this amazing person, then I like to reverse engineer everything. And I would say, let's build up your confidence to the point where your confidence is on the ready all the time. You always feel confident. You are always ready to go. And that, leaders, is the best way for you to not feel as intimidated when you are in the room with other people who perhaps may be a bit more experienced than you. I have done this with my clients. I have went through this personally myself, and I want to let you know that you can be confident all the time. There's certain aspects of life, there's certain aspects of your career that you may not feel as confident in, but there's a certain strategy I want to share with you that will help you to do that. I have a lot of videos on my YouTube channel. I have pre-recorded videos, I have live videos that talk about confidence. There's so much to cover that I don't have time to cover it in this video, but take a few moments to look at my live videos, look at my pre-recorded videos, and check out any videos that say the word confidence in it. And you will gain some insight in terms of how to start building up your confidence as a leader. Now, I promised you that I was going to give you another strategy to help you not feel as intimidated when you are in rooms with more experienced leaders. But I want to know from you first, how do you feel about this first strategy? Is this something that you have struggled with as a woman in leadership? Perhaps as a man in leadership? Have you ever struggled with this? And if so, and if you're a woman in leadership, then contact me. Reach out to me for a strategy session. Let's talk about where you are, where you want to be, and I will provide you with some insight in terms of how you can get over this feeling as a high achiever that you are just not where you need to be. Now, the second strategy I want to share with you all is a very important one. Now, this strategy specifically is a different take on how to not feel intimidated when you are in a room with more experienced peers. This is something that people are not talking about on YouTube. And I guarantee you, if you're watching this portion of the video, this is what you absolutely want to take a note on, or at least put a mental reference of this particular strategy, because this will absolutely change your life. Are you ready? Instead of going into your meeting where there are other seasoned veterans, there are other accomplished leaders, there are other individuals that may have done more in their lives than you have. Maybe they have generated more income in their businesses or etc. Remember something, and I want you to write this down or at least reflect on it. You are in this event and you have what we talked about, strategy one. You have your own accomplishments and successes that you've done. Instead of going to the event and trying to compare yourself to other people, oh, this person does this, oh, this person does that, why don't you think about it a bit differently? Think of it in this way. How can my unique experiences that I have had in my life that have helped me to, remember, climb up my mountain that I'm looking back on, add value to this group as a whole? Now, I know this may be a bit different than what you are thinking. You're probably thinking, well, shouldn't we be talking about what we should say and how we should say it? Yes, you know I will talk about communication all day, every day, as you all know on this channel. But there's sometimes, from my perspective as an executive coach, that there are mental blocks that we have on ourselves that prevent us from being able to be that best version of ourselves. And when you're in those type of settings and you feel like you want to shrink, you feel intimidated, like, oh gosh, this person has done this person has done that. What can you add to this group? This is a great way for you to not feel as intimidated, because it puts you in the mindset of the person who is not there just to observe and to just listen to information. You are that leader that can actually help to set the trend and change the direction of this particular organization or event. Think of yourself in that way. As I mentioned, when we looked back at the mountain, we saw how far we climbed. We saw all the trials and tribulations and challenges that we've went through professionally to get to where we are right now. Those experiences can truly be an insight and be a blessing to the group that you're communicating with. Maybe the people that you are interacting with have not accomplished some of the things that you have done, and they wish that they could have. Perhaps in this meeting, they need someone just like you, to be present, to actually give some insight in terms of how can they be very successful when dealing with this type of challenge. So the next time when you're in a meeting and you feel very intimidated by all the people that are there, all the individuals that appear to be doing much better than you are, I want you to think about this conversation that we're having, because it will change your perspective in terms of how you're feeling, so that you're not feeling as intimidated when you're going into those meetings. Remember, think about what can you offer to this group? What makes you unique? What makes you special? And this is something that many of us as leaders struggle with. Even as business owners, we struggle with this. And oftentimes women in leaders struggle with this as well, because we are sometimes in roles where we may be the only woman there, or we may be in a situation where they have never had a woman in this role, and that in itself can lead to us feeling somewhat intimidated by the roles that we are in and the people we are surrounded by, because we are one of one in terms of being the woman in the room or woman at the table in these senior leadership or business type roles. So this is something that impacts many people. This impacts women in leadership, and it impacts men in leadership as well, which is the reason why it is so incredibly important for you to take a few moments and reflect on why this happens. Why do people feel intimidated when they are in rooms, when there are other leaders that are a bit more experienced than they are, and the strategies that you can do to help you not feel as intimidated. Number one being to take a few moments and look back. Remember, we're looking back at our mountain that we've climbed up, the successes that we've accomplished and what we have done. And then number two would be to think about what can you bring to this group? What value do you have that you can bring to this group? Think of it that way. Add your value. You are valuable. You are special. You have so many wonderful insights and gifts that you're trying to give to the world. That's why you are subscribed to my channel. My videos, the titles of the videos that I have are not for just the average people that are here just to be on YouTube, just to troll and say offensive comments or look at random nonsense. My titles are very specific to a certain type of person who is at that level in their career where they are at a leadership journey. They're transitioning to a different role. They're elevating. They are not the same person that they were, or they are not the same person that they used to be years ago. We change every day, but the people that watch my videos are truly accomplished individuals, and those are the type of individuals and leaders that we need in the world today. My role and my mission here is just to help you be able to communicate more confidently and more concisely under pressure. So when you have those situations come up in life as a leader where you're struggling and you're challenged and you just simply do not know what you want to do, you will have the tools, the mindset, the strategies, the techniques that I talk about specifically on my channel to help you be that leader that stands out from everybody else, that everybody says, whoa, I did not know that this person was that type of leader. They handled that situation like the executive. They are the people we need to follow, because this is the person that can lead our organization or their businesses or etc. to that next level. That's why I'm here to support you, and that is why hopefully you have enjoyed this content that I have shared with you so far. As I mentioned, this is what I do. This is my expertise. And if you are not in my target audience directly, you are always welcome to send me a message on Instagram at Excite Excellence, on LinkedIn at Dr. Jacinta Lamantai, or at Excite Excellence on LinkedIn or on Facebook. You're welcome to contact me and also leave a message in the comments below if you have something that you're dealing with. Typically, people come to me for the hard things, for the very hard things, the very difficult conversations. That is my expertise. The hard situations is what I like to personally deal with, because I've dealt with them so much over the years that I have a very, very unique type of system in terms of how I manage those very challenging situations. So if this sounds like something that is interesting to you and you want to learn a bit more, then this is a great opportunity for you to subscribe to the channel. I talk about advanced level communication skills and strategies every single day. I go live Tuesday through Friday, rather, in the mornings, in the evenings, to provide y'all with as much value as possible. I have over 900 videos here on this channel. And as I mentioned, when I say I guarantee you're going to learn something from this video, if you're trying to elevate how you communicate, I guarantee that. And I know in the world of online and etc., we're not supposed to guarantee anything, but no, I confidently guarantee that you will learn something that will change your life and that will absolutely change how you communicate. If you have any questions, reach out to me and let me know. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there are several videos you absolutely want to take a look at, especially if you're feeling a bit intimidated. Any video on my channel or on my live tab that talks about confidence is going to be a very, very good video for you to watch. Any video that specifically talks about managing your emotions under pressure, speaking under pressure, which is going to be the focus for this month, or anything related to mastering your eye contact, your facial expressions. These are fundamental communication skills that will help you really start to accelerate your growth. And as you start to develop these skills, then you can learn some more advanced techniques in terms of how do you control a conversation? What do you do? How do you think on your feet when someone's trying to challenge you? Those type of strategies are there for more advanced communicators. And you just have to get the foundations down first. So I appreciate you for being here. And if you have questions, I'm here to support you any way that I can. Make sure you watch a few other videos on my channel if you're trying to elevate yourself in terms of how you communicate. And I'm here to support you any way that I can. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.